by some of Paul Felder's comments, but all of that is about to be in the past. They are imminently about to do battle. The Kiwi, Dan the Hangman Hooker, and Paul the Irish Dragon Felder. Here
Come on, first
we
round.
go, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's Fight Club is brought to you by Dave and Buster's. Straight away, Felder on the front foot. Lots of feints from Hooker.
Felder looked furious all the way through his walkout, and then that denial of the glove touch as well as further fired him up. Now he's taking calf kicks from Dan Hooker. 3 good calf kicks already. Can already see redness on the leg of Paul Felder from those kicks.
Felder told us this week that you can't hang around in front of... You can't hang around in front of Hooker. You've got to get in, do damage, get out.
4 of those calf kicks. So impactful is that strike. Oh, snapping right hand over the top.
Hooker doing a really nice job on the perimeter, like a sniper at the moment.
Felder doesn't really get started until he's in pain anyway.
4-inch reach advantage for Hooker, who's keeping it very simple at the moment and is very effective. He was really chopping away nicely at that lead leg. Felder's tattoo has turned a shade of red.
Good pressure already from Felder, but he is standing in range, taking shots. Just nice
Listen
feint.
to the crowd.
Oh!
It is deafening in here as Felder lands a right hand.
Hooker just let his guard down for a moment while Felder was in range, then got caught with a 1-2. Nice prod to the midsection from Hooker.
I have to say, I've barely recognised Paul Felder this week. Such has been the focus and determination ahead of this meeting with Dan Hooker.
And he left all of his body fat in the US as well, which is unusual for Paul.
Nice work there by Hooker on the outside. When these guys met a couple of months ago, it was a very intense stare down. I'm sure you at home saw it. The intention from Hooker was to make Felder go back to the States and train like he's never trained before.
Already bruising on that leg of Paul Felder, and Dan Hooker's just managing to stay out of range of a lot of these things. Felder's coming high on his toes when he's throwing that left hook.
Felder's very thick, especially his legs.
Yes.
But that said, that doesn't mean that you can't get hurt.
Trying to find his way inside with those elbows. A lot of the pad work that I've seen him doing with Duke Rufus has been very much a close range, cracking with elbows and knees. He's got to close this distance down if he's going to be effective with any of that, and the bruising on that calf is already showing itself.
Hooker working out with the likes of Israel Adesanya, Brad Riddell, who we saw earlier, Alex Volkanovski.
Good body kick from Felder there, perhaps learned something from the Barbosa fight.
Well, I was doing my research thinking, was there much that we could take from those fights? It's a common opponent. It was a real show of grit and determination by Hooker, who's shown just, again, the strength of his chin, because it was checked there by Felder.
Oh, there's no doubt that both of these guys can take big shots. Over 25 minutes, though, it's the one that takes the less shots that's going to be more effective in the later rounds. 18 shots to 11 at the moment in favour of Dan Hooker.
Felder's never been knocked out before. His only stoppage was due to the doctor's interception. Felder was in that war with Barbosa. His body let him down. His head was like, I'm not quitting, in one of the most unbelievable displays of determination that I've witnessed.
Really good management of range so far from Dan Hooker. Felder needs to start stall. That was a nice inside low kick.
Good work by
knee.
Hooker to get back to his feet. Felder's foraging for opportunities to do damage there.
Underhooks here for Dan Hooker. Although Felder really would probably be preferring this range, especially if he didn't give double underhooks. Hooker here is opening the midsection up to knees.
Well, we shouldn't forget the amount of elbow strikes that Paul Felder has on his resume. He's a record holder in the UFC. 3 fights he's won by elbow. So on the break is normally where a fighter will employ them.
Always pressure from Felder. Needs to do a better job of stepping to his left and cutting the octagon off. Hooker's got free rein moving to his left at the moment. Felder's shadowing him but not stopping him.
Apparently Hooker Hooker used to be a featherweight fighter, isn't it?
Felder to 106 for Dan Hooker.
Yeah, because judges really need a lot more magnification right now.
He's got such a hard job, unfortunately, for them. Even with the stats in front of us, I wouldn't like to make a call on it. Oh, and again with the right hand. Hooker just looks like he's starting to get backed up a bit now. Starting to feel this pressure from Paul Felder. There's the right hand again. Duke Rufus is calling Paul Felder on. He wants numbers, he wants volume from Felder. He wants him to put that 32 beats per minute to good use.
He said, remember the combination we were doing the last 2 days, that's what we need.
Oh, and again with the right hand.
Felder knew exactly what he was walking into here when he was facing Dan Hooker, a man who will not back down. You can hit him with absolutely everything and he will remain in the fight. He is showing that once again.
Great work by Felder now, starting to close that door.
Hooker wanted to give his people a 25-minute war, and right now that is exactly what is being delivered.
I feel like Felder just gets stronger as the fight goes on. It's almost like that first round seems like a warm-up round for him now. Especially looking back to his other 3-rounders where he's made it to the distance. Oh, good level change from Dan Hooker. Felder's having none of it though, runs himself to the fence, immediately fighting the hands.
Hooker's trying to lace the leg. Felder turned in.
Good head position from Dan Hooker. See if he lands some shots from this position. He's got the body lock here, so he's not going to want to break his grip to land elbows. But knees is definitely an option for him.
Shoulders are on trend as well at the moment, Dan.
Shoulders are on trend, John. Powerful left hook right hand. Hooker stands in the breach.
Speaking of which, I'm sure Mr. McGregor's probably watching this fight right now. I wonder what he makes of this.
Lovely right hand by Felder. Dan Hooker's starting to look a little more stationary now, which definitely suits Paul Felder's style. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is just shy of the whiskers. That is a lazy looking kick. We're definitely right at the end of the fight with a lot of effort spent so far.
Unbelievable significant strikes landed. 123 for Paul Felder to 116 for Dan Hooker. We're talking 7 strikes. We're talking 7 strikes.
There's a striking. You've got to start looking down the list.
Paul Felder looking frustrated, wants to get back to his feet. Dan Hooker's doing everything he can to control him. Felder's back on his feet, but Dan Hooker takes his back. Felder's going to scramble. Wow, what a beautiful scramble there from Dan Hooker to maintain top position. Felder's still working. Back to his feet, last 10 seconds to go.
Will they finish on their feet? What a spectacular display of skill, heart, will, here in Auckland, New Zealand. And every single person here is on their feet. This changes a human being, a fight like that. The respect has been earned once again between these two fighters.
What a performance from both guys. Both exhausted, both gave everything they had. I mean, we're talking a few strikes in between it.
Here, fight fans.
But look at this, Felder. As the fight went on, he started to progress, but in the early rounds, he was taking some shots. He took some clean punches for his trouble, but started to wear on moving into the second round. Hooker started to get some confidence from that first round. He started to land some good shots in the second. Keeps working the calf kick. We can see the marking on Felder's face from early on in the fight. But Felder, grit and determination, moving into his best.
Barry Foley scores it, 48-47, Felder. Howard Hughes scores it, 48-47, Hooker. And David Lethaby scores the contest, 48-47, for the winner by split decision, Dan Hooker.
Congratulations, first of all, to both of these guys. Just, I mean, what an absolute war.